Let me introduce Anna Fürstenberg, who is in charge of our music schools globally. And I asked Anna to be here. You can meet Anna in the booth also afterwards if you want. We have decided to do a presentation both with unique music school and unique game schools. Because then game and music and sound design is so incorporated nowadays, so also into film. So you need to know about, and you probably in the future will work together with teammates that have the different skills into the different occupation. With us also here, we have Lachlan Burns from SAE in Australia. SAE in Australia is that school we handpicked for all the game areas. And we have schools, it's important for me to say we have schools in New Zealand, we have schools in Australia, we have the same portfolio up in Europe, North America, like Canada or United States. But we are privileged to have Lachlan together with us this couple of weeks. And last Monday, we too have an amazing meeting with a company down in Malmö called Massive Entertainment. They won the global competition to do games based on the new Avatar films that James Cameron and Peter Jackson's team produced together down in New Zealand. They are expanding in Malmö from 200 to 400, and they are expanding here in Stockholm with a new studio with 200 people. And what they offer you that go for game, but also you that go for sound design, they offer you, when you return to Sweden, a 6-month paid internship based on portfolio and interview. So it's an amazing offer, and it's an amazing opportunity. And this is the way we at Your Study Advisor work, that we try to meet you already at high school. We help you to the best schools we can find in the world. And then when you are finished with, for example, a diploma or bachelor degree, we help you into the industry back in Sweden as much as we can. So please, Lachlan, take over.
Hi everyone, my name is Lachlan. I have come from SAE Creative Media Institute. I do have a bit of a PowerPoint presentation I'd like to show you. I'd really like to demonstrate the facilities that we have on offer in Australia, and also just tell you a bit more about SAE Creative Media Institute as a whole. So this first picture, this actually gives a pretty good idea of what we do. You can see down the bottom, we have several different disciplines available of study. So animation, audio, design, film, games, web and mobile. But particularly today, I wanted to speak to you all about the games program as well as the audio program, which are two really fantastic programs. They actually work quite a bit together. All of our games students have to have the audio students come in and do the background music for much of their games. We also get post-production audio students to come in and do a lot of the sound design, sound effects for a lot of our games. So like all of our programs, they do actually work together and collaborate quite a bit. So we are a global creative media institute. We have a number of campuses around the world. We started back in Australia around 42 years ago, and that was just a small audio school. Since that time, we've actually grown to have campuses in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Adelaide, and Byron Bay, which is a small coastal town north of Sydney on the beach. We invest quite heavily in all of our facilities. The entire ideology behind SAE is to learn by doing, learn by creating. So we try to give our students the best kind of equipment, the best kind of facilities that they can possibly have. The idea for us is that we take a practical, hands-on approach to our studies, and that we're not overly focusing on the theoretical studies of our students. We intend to make our students industry ready. So by the time you leave your studies with us, you are ready to hit the ground running and enter the industry. And as Pio mentioned, the opportunity with companies such as Massive Entertainment, which we're looking to have available for both games and audio students, is exactly the kind of opportunity we hope to provide to all of our students. To have them industry ready and to be recognised by companies such as Massive Entertainment out there in the industry, and have our students be given the best kind of possibilities and opportunities to enter the market and get their career started and up and running. So a kind of a 6-month internship, I have to say, is an incredible opportunity that we don't really see a lot. So for Swedish students to be able to return from Australia, come back here and take up that internship, that is truly incredible. So very quickly, I wanted to show you a few shots of our different campuses and the facilities that we have. So this is actually our Brisbane campus. It's a beautiful new campus, about 2 or 3 years old, right on the Brisbane River. It's a very beautiful city, lovely climate. This is an example of one of our audio facilities. This is an Avid S6 console. We use this in audio production, so for sound design, sound effects. You can see the students there are working on a film, collaborating with the film students. Quite a bit of collaboration between the animation and game students as well. Here we see we have different facilities such as lecture theatres. This is an example of an audio recording space. This is our Byron Bay campus. You can see through the window there is actually quite a large audio console that the audio students would also work with. They all also quite frequently record themselves, friends that are in bands, really being able to introduce their own musical ideas and musical elements into their studies as well. Here is our new Sydney campus. This is a $12 million campus that we opened last year. It's 7 stories high, and it is one of the largest creative media campuses on the planet. It truly is quite incredible. This is actually one of the facilities we have at that campus. This is an online radio station that our students record out of. That room there is completely soundproofed. Here is our Melbourne campus. This is a post-production audio console looking down onto the film studio where we have some film students working with some other studios. So, and this is also for games. This is part of the virtual reality and augmented reality segment that our games programs offered. We are looking increasingly into incorporating virtual reality and augmented reality into our games, and we're also looking at introducing that to other areas, such as film and animation. We are constantly looking at new ways to explore different technologies, different methodologies in creative media to introduce them to our students and to our courses. So why study at SAE? As I've said, we are project-based. You learn by doing, learn by creating. You are going to be making projects from the first week. Throughout the entire program, you are going to be building up an entire portfolio of work that you're going to be able to show as your progression and your final product for when you go out there into the industry. We have a guaranteed internship for all of our bachelor students. We send all of our students out to do a 12 or 13-week internship with one of the businesses in Australia that's part of the wider SAE business network. It's a fantastic way to get on-the-job experience and also to start to build up your list of contacts and networks. We also have a number of award-winning alumni across the world working on different films, cinema, Academy Award winners, BAFTA winners. We have 3 trimesters per year. We enroll students from February, May and September in programs such as diploma through to bachelor degrees. So we have a 1-year diploma, a 2-year associate degree and a 3-year bachelor program. All of these programs lead into the other. So you can actually start from the diploma and move your way through to the bachelor if you decide that you'd rather start with a shorter program and then see further down the track whether you'd like to continue your studies. So very quickly, just to finish off, this is the bachelor degree structure. It is divided into 3 years. The first year is focusing on the fundamentals to give you a really thorough platform and understanding of all the different areas of your particular discipline. The second year is when you move into a specialized area of study. For games, this is either games programming or games design. For audio, this is either studio production, primarily working with music and music recording, or post-production audio, which is sound design, sound effects for film, TV, games, and animation. The final year is actually where everything is tied together. Here we have a major project that you would do with a number of other students, up to 7 or 8 students from all of the different disciplines. We usually present this final project at an industry showcase night where we bring in a lot of different members of the industry from around the different Australian cities to come and speak to you about your project, your involvement and what you've worked on. Here we also have the work placement unit as well. So you can see the final part of the program is where you really invest your ideas and your efforts and your energies into that major project, as well as the work placement unit to give you that really excellent and that really excellent experience out there in the industry. For those games and audio students that we are speaking to companies like Massive as well, you would then go back to Sweden and potentially look into applying for that 6-month paid internship, which is based on a portfolio and interview. The portfolio which you would develop throughout your entire time with SAE. So I think that was most of what I wanted to talk about. PO is going to very briefly talk about unique game schools, unique music schools as well. I will be up the front here. If you do have any questions, please feel free to come up and speak to me at the end of the presentation.
Thanks. What Anna will do now is actually giving you a pen and paper, and if you look into that one, we ask you if you want a one-to-one meeting. It's a really, really important thing for us to help one of you, each of one of you. And it don't cost you any penny. It's totally free. So what I normally say to the students that applying for different schools, apply inside Sweden, it don't cost you anything. And if you apply through us, it don't cost you anything. The schools we are working with don't charge you any application fee. And our service is totally free. We are financed by 100 schools around the world, that each of them give us a small information about it. What I want to tell you finally is how important the CSN funding is. There are some schools in the North America that do similar stuff like SAE, for example, in the game, but they charge you a lot of money for 1 year studies, and they are not in the same way academically accredited. And what I mean with that we have 2 very, very, very important areas that we look into. One is that all our schools need to be inside CSN funding. So no private money is, don't need to go to mom or dad or grandpa and say, I need money to study. All of it is completely funded by CSN. The second one is that it is accredited academically, so you can take your bachelor back home and you can do a master in Sweden if you want. Saying that, you get 1,250 Swedish crowns per month today at high school. When you study overseas, you get 12,000 Swedish crowns from CSN at the same date. 6,000 for rent, 6,000 for food and extra. You will have all the school fee financed by CSN, and you also will have 2 return tickets back to Sweden. So you can actually go back for Christmas, you can go back for summer if you want. The normal thing is that the students actually go back and front for and using one of the return tickets and then leaving the money as an extra budget if something happens. We help you one by one. We help you with the application. We help you with the contact with the school. And the contact is based on portfolio and based on Skype interview. And we will support you with a online application portfolio. So you can drag and drop your portfolio into the system. And when you have finished, we look it over before we send it to the school. What I finally would like to highlight is, once again, going back to Anna's areas, and to unique music schools. What we have done there is that we have presented in the way that we say vocal, guitar, drums, bass, keyboard, music production, composition, audio production, music theater, and music business. For those ones who really are into music area and to one instrument, Anna is the person you should talk with. Anna have a degree from New York and her instrument is violin, but she practiced the violin with jazz. I played with Anna because I played the piano, because I have a degree from the Music Conservatory in Malmö, and I have been very, 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 very careful before we took in different music schools into our portfolio. Now we have a perfect mix of schools in New Zealand, in Australia, in Europe, in Canada, in United States. And for you guys that are into music, don't forget music business, because music business is a growing market. All the artists need help, management help. And if you have an interest in music and you have an interest in business, this is a golden opportunity to combine those two skills. So thank you for listening, and I know that Anna have some material that she can hand over, and both for the music and for the game, and also material from SAE that are possible for you to get. And please come back to our booth if you want and get more details done. So this guy for game, this amazing girl for music, simple like that. And I take care of your parents. They call me the grey one, so I take care of your parents. Good. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.